Canterbury Tale, the Reeves Tale.
There was a miller who lived in Trumpington, a town near Cambridge. A bridge goes over where the brook runs down, and by that brook there stands a mill as well. There was a miller who lived there many a day. He was proud and gay. He played the bagpipes. He could fish, he could wrestle. He could poach a deer. He could mend his gear.
He was a tough man. Everyone feared him.
Yeah.
He carried a blade at his pocket.
No one dared to touch him, for he was the market bully.
His wife was nobly born. Her father was the town's parson. No one dared but call her madam.
Oh, madam.
No one dared to tease her, for the miller wouldn't hurt them.
Hey, good looking.
The miller had a daughter 20 years of age, and a baby ever in the town loved her. Her grandfather, the town's parson, would give her all his land.
They were terrified when suddenly the sky was filled with light, and an angel said to them, "Do not be afraid, for behold, I bring you good news of great joy. Granddaughter, you will be inheriting all my land when I die."
Thank you, guys.
The miller was a corrupt man. He stole grain and cornmeal from his customers. Placing his thumb on the scale, he would give his customers less grain than they asked for, and the rest he kept for himself.
There were two college students, Alan and John. They loved a good laugh. They knew the miller was a corrupt man. They wanted to catch him in the act of stealing, so they made a dealing with the miller for cornmeal. They asked if they could watch his process and catch him in the act. That would be a good laugh.
Hey, Simon, how are things? How's the wife and that candy daughter of yours?
Good. We need to get home soon. Did you grind our grain fast? We're really curious as to see how you grind the grain, so is it alright if we watch you while you grind it?
As the two students were talking, the miller snuck away when they weren't looking to fulfill his master evil plan. The miller opened the gate and let the horses loose, so the two students would have to run after their own horses.
Where are the horses?
Simpkin. The swagger.
The two students knew right away who stole their horses. It was Simpkin, the swagger. Frantically, they chased after their horses, up and down, everywhere. They looked everywhere for their horses.
Good thing we found our horses.
I know, but we still gotta get our grain back to that no good miller. We should get back at him.
And we need a place to stay.
The students saw that the miller was there, and they decided to ask him for a place to stay.
We need a place to stay. As long as you pay me.
Oh, we promised we will.
The miller gave the students a place to stay. They all slept in one room, the miller, his wife, in one bed, John and Alan in another, and the miller's daughter in her own. The baby lay in a cradle next to the miller and his wife.
The miller, his wife, slept in bed, as Alan plotted to sleep with daughter as payback. "Be careful, Alan," said John. "The miller is a terrible man for slaughter. If we should find you with his daughter, he might do injury to you and me." Alan crept to the daughter's bed. She laid flat on her back and slept. She saw him. It was too late to cry, to put it briefly. They were soon at one. John lay in bed and thought, he can't have all the fun when this tale to be told. I shall be seen as the coward. So John rose, lifted the cradle toward his bed. The miller's wife began to rise from bed, left the room, and instead of her husband's bed, she mistakenly went to John's bed. The cradle was there. wife tried to sleep, but John leapt upon his worthy wife. It was the merriest fit she had had in all of her life. For John went deep and thrust away like mad. It was a jolly life for either lad.
Oh, thanks for the quickie.
Wait, I know where your cornmeal is. I helped my father steal it. I baked it into a cake. It's behind the mill.
John, wake up, wake up. I found the grain. The miller's daughter told me where it was. Wake up.
The miller rose in fury. He grabbed Alan by the Adam's apple and strangled him. His wife screamed in horror. The students were fighting, but it was the miller and Alan who were truly fighting. Then the miller stubbed his toe, fell on John and his wife. John got up and started to beat the miller with Alan. The miller's wife felt around the floor, found a walking stick, and started beating the shadows, thinking it was the students. The miller's wife beat her husband over and over again.
I've heard this proverb from when I was a kid. Do evil and be done by as say you did. Tricksters will get tricky, so say I, and God that sits in majesty on high. Bring all this company, great and small, to glory. Thus I've paid out the miller with my story.